This is the Axopar 25. Now, I actually toured this boat at the Palma Boat Show, and I'll put a link to that above the video and in the description below. But I'm going to go back on this one because it's got an interesting layout that the boat at the show didn't have. So let's have a little quick look around this. So the Axopar 25, based on the hull of the 22, the main difference is that this has got a cabin. The other thing about this boat is that it's got this slightly different deck layout to the version that we've seen before on the channel, hence why I wanted to film it. So there are a few different formations you can have here in the cockpit. You can have a bench across the back, you can have U-shaped seating on the table, but here you have really quite flexible seating. There's towing underneath, but obviously you can sit people down either side, you can sit back to back. You can also move this backrest around, so instead of having it running down the middle of this sun pad, you can have it running across. Therefore, it creates a bench facing forward and a bench facing aft. It's probably the most flexible seating solution available on this boat, and certainly if you're going to use this boat as a tender, which some people will, then it's a really good flexible seating arrangement. Other than that, it really is a very similar layout to the 25, but you notice you've got really nice tall top sides. There's good guardrails running all the way along, and they're nice and tall as well. So it's a small boat this, but you feel safe, you feel secure. There's some storage and a fridge actually underneath these seat sections here. That one's a sink, and then there's storage and cooling space on the other side. So you have got some basic facilities on deck. You've got this nice rubberized finish as well, which will stay nice and cool. It's really grippy and probably quite a lot easier to maintain, look after and clean than teak. Quite a simple helm arrangement. It's really clean and easy to use. You've got obviously your Simrad MFD, you've got a little run of buttons here for your main controls. Down here you've got a joystick for the bow thruster, and then this is for the trim tabs. Obviously you've got a single throttle. It's all single engines on this boat, and this has got the 250 horsepower Mercury, which is actually the largest you can have on this 25. There's some speakers here for the sound system, and you've got steps built in to the top sides here so that you can quite easily climb out onto the quayside. There's also a step on the top, just makes getting on and off that a little bit easier. Now, it isn't a full walk around like the 22, that's the main difference. So you walk up onto the foredeck, where you've got a bit more sunbathing space. Nice to have these cup holders built in, and quite clever that the cushion backrest allows for the glass, so you still get a bit of natural light down into the cabin. Moving right forward, you have the anchor locker. Nice deep locker that. No windows here, you just throw the anchor in and out, but it's nicely finished and actually a good size. You'd probably get a couple of fenders in there as well if you needed to. You have an adjustable windscreen on this boat as well. More for transport, I suppose, than anything, but you can adjust the height, so you just untwist these both sides and they slide up and down this runner. But one thing that's nice is obviously it's a very open boat, but it's a really decent windscreen, so when you're sat down in these lift bolster helm seats, you are really well protected, and these mechanisms also allow the seats to turn around so they can turn around and face into the cockpit to make it that little bit more sociable. As I mentioned before, the main difference with the 25 is that you have this Cuddy Cabin. Now, most people are probably only going to use this for storage. It's sitting room only. But actually the berth is okay. It's a decent enough length. You can't sit up in there, but you could, have a couple of nights in there if you really wanted to. But it's a nice dry space, somewhere for people to get changed. The guests have a bit of privacy if they want to get changed out of swimming trunks. There's a sink down here, a little bit of storage up here. This is actually detachable. A bit more storage either side, and you've got your window here, and there is a skylight there, so you get a bit of ventilation in here as well. So it's not a big boat. You can't expect a particularly luxurious level of accommodation, but certainly does the job.